So grab your fucking party hat and put that fucker on. We're gonna drink a lot of fucking beer and smoke a lot of fucking pot. And if you're supposed to work tomorrow, better call and tell them to fuck off. Happy fucking birthday to you. All your fucking friends are here and your fucking family too. Hope you get some fucking action, fucking drink until you spew. Happy fucking birthday to you.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
How the hell is everybody out there? My picture's changing all around. How the hell is everybody out there? This is AJ Orsini, and of course I am your host for Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and we are here with episode 32, the lovely Magic Johnson number, of course. One of my favorite b-ball players of all time. Episode 32. We are well on our way here into these episodes. I'm already in my 30s here. This is starting to feel good. How the hell is everybody out there, man? I can't believe. What a week. We had comic book week last week. And it doesn't matter how hard you get hit, man. It's how hard you can get back up and keep on taking it, baby. That's how winning is done. I did not like last week's episode. On a content point, I loved it. It was a great discussion to have. Once again, thank you, Mr. Brandon Lewis, for being on the show with me last week. The audio issue, man, pissed me off, disappointed me. I was super bummed about the whole thing. I was bummed for days about it because it was really the content that I really wanted to showcase. You know, some non-wrestling stuff. You know, I was going to showcase it to other people, try to get a different genre of fan paying attention to the show, you know, doing my whole promotional deal, and I get shitty audio. And that's not my best foot to put forward. So, super bummed, super disappointed until a few days had gone by, and the downloads were through the roof. Everyone who listens to my show, I guess. All downloaded it, all listened to it. So once again, I know I'm getting repetitive, but thank you so much for downloading that episode. And what seems to happen is I can always tell when I get new fans or a new person listening to the show, because they'll download the current episode and then they'll go back and they'll start downloading other episodes. You know, my first few episodes that I did, I'll go ahead and say maybe like 1 through 8 didn't download very well, and I didn't think that it would. You know, the show was just getting started, but those downloads now are way up there, and I think it's because people are listening to the recent episodes, going back, listening to the old shit, and God help you for listening to the old shit, because I was feeling it out. For those of you who are new to the show, maybe you've heard me say it on the older episodes. I was trying to be honest at the time, but a lot of this shit was liquid, baby. I was trying to figure this shit out, trying to find out where my voice is, trying to find out where my direction was. I was really trying to figure out what to do with the show. So I was doing this topic, that topic, this format, this length. I was all over the place. So for those of you who listen to the old episodes, God bless you and thank you, because those were the Genesis days. Feeling a little better about the show now, feeling a little bit better as a host now. I'm feeling a little bit loose. Today I'm feeling good. No injuries, no health issues, family's good. As a matter of fact, today is a very special day in the House of O. Mrs. O, the Queen of Odom, if you will. Today is her birthday. Dee, dee, dee. She is celebrating her birthday. She turns 33 today. I always can remember her age because she's always 2 years behind me. That's what her age is. So she's celebrating her 33rd birthday today. We celebrated over the weekend. The weekend that just passed, we celebrated it, knowing that it landed on a fucking Wednesday, which is a terrible time for a birthday. Not just for the position of it, but also because we really can't do anything on Wednesday. Scheduling wise, picking up our son. I have a class. There's a lot of things going on. But I think I've mentioned this before. I upload these episodes while I'm in class. I'm sitting there listening to the teach do her thing, and I'm doing the show in class. So that's usually what happens, or it's been happening at least since the beginning of this semester. But yeah, it's not really much for us to do on fucking Wednesday because it's on a fucking Wednesday, and people who are important in this world have things to do on fucking Wednesday. So we did stuff over the weekend. What did you do, AJ? I will tell you some of the things that we did. Obviously, I can't go into detail about all of them because those are too spicy. Either that information is too much to be uncensored. Plus, I think she'd kill me if I said so. We decided we were going to do a group thing. I was going to get some friends together. We were going to go out, spend some time over the weekend. Unfortunately, a lot of my friends are fucking flaky and non-committal, and I don't trust them. Because we're all adults, we all have shit to do. And I'm saying it as an insult, by the way, because sometimes, or actually more often than not, a cancellation will take place because some adulting needs to get done. Kids are sick, job thing, school thing, whatever the case may be. So we knew it was going to be a pretty important birthday this year because we really haven't had a chance to do much. So instead of relying on those around us to see what was going to happen, we decided to take the ball into our own hands here. Bull by the horns, if you will. And we just decided to do our own trip. So what we did was we dropped the boy off at his godmother's house in Manhattan, hopped in the car, and we drove our asses to Atlantic City, baby. That's Atlantic City in New Jersey. The bootleg, sawed-off, black market version of Vegas. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Where anybody could have fun for as long as you have about at least $1 on you. You should be good. And we went to Atlantic City. Hotel room, the whole shebang. We did a day into night trip, and overnight drove back the next day, Sunday, to pick up the boy and go back to living that parent life. But Saturday, we were adults. There was some serious adulting going on. There was drinking. There was gambling. There was knocking of the boots. That's right. There was a baby practice, if you will, happening in Atlantic City. I've said if you will at least 3 times now, so I am now officially on a if you will, timeout. I was saying it earlier today as well, so I don't know. Something about today has made me channel the late, great Dusty Rhodes. So we were having a great time. I withdrew a bunch of money to gamble with because I knew, we're trying to have a good time here, right? It's the wife's birthday, so daddy's got to spend some money. I bust my ass every day to have the money, so now I've got it. Now it's time to spend it. So I withdrew like a shitload of money, and we ended up not using not even 75% of it, because what ended up happening was I was pulling out money like a certain amount of increments at a time. So I think I gave her like $40 to start off with, because remember, it's Atlantic City, so you don't have to play devious to really lose a bunch of money. So we were more concerned with having fun and killing time until the nightlife. So we just went out there, $40. We figure we'll re-up. If need be, we'll just re-up because we got a bunch of money put aside for this. So we went into the casino, $40. We were in there for about an hour and change, and we were up to like $150 just on the $40 that we started with. And then, so we're basically playing with house money. So the gambling got crazier. The bets got even more insane. We were making money. We were losing money. We were kind of up and down. And by the end of the gambling evening, the gambling portion, we had lost all of it. But that's fine because we were only technically in the whole $40. So at the end of the day, we still had fun. And the beautiful rule in Atlantic City, if you've never been, is we went to the bar to start, but that was just to kick it up. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to get the night started off right. So bourbon shots, mixed drinks. We didn't spend too much at the bar, but we got it started as fast. Gotta get the car warmed up. Because you can go to the machines, you can go to the tables. I don't know if people know this in Atlantic City, but the drinks are free when you're gambling. When you're gambling, the drinks are free. They actually have these little machines. These little, I don't want to say computers, but they have these little computer screens on the machines where you put your card in and then you can literally order the beverage and the beverage comes to the machine. Like they come right to you. They know your name, your order, and all that shit. It is dope. So we spent X amount of money at the bar. A lot less than we thought we were going to spend because the whole plan was to get obliterated. But we ended up not getting obliterated there. We actually got pretty fucked up at the machines because we just kept. It's not like back in the day, in the old days, where you had to wait for the waitress to make her way across. You could literally make your order at the machine. I mean, we were ordering 4 or 5 drinks like every 15 minutes. It was just like another wave of alcohol coming while we were gambling. So we had a blast. We ended up going to this club that's down there and had a good time there, danced, drank, all that stuff. We were going to hit up the strip club. That was actually an idea that we were going to go with. And we actually waited on the line. Like, it wasn't a very long line. You know, we were just enjoying the night. It wasn't even much of a hassle to go on the line. But we did not go. We did not go in because for some oddball reason, and maybe this is new. I've been out of the game too long, the titty game. I haven't been around the titty game in a while. But they wanted to check in my cell phone. Now, I get it. Social media, pictures, videos, all that stuff. But check in my cell phone, that's a big no. Gonna go with a hard no on that. No go. Not giving you my cell phone. Too much shit on my cell phone for you to be looking at my fucking cell phone. So, no, that did not happen. Which is fine because, like I said, hotel room. So, the night ended the way that it needed to end. And then we went the next day back to the city and became adults became parents all over again. So, we had a fantastic, actually, it was a 2-day period because Friday, Mr. Brandon Lewis was back over my home again. I told you he's one of my best friends. And we had a game night, drinking game night. There was some booze done, some games. I won a very high intense game of Trivial Pursuit. So if any of you bitches out there want a piece of the oyster and some Trivial Pursuit, I am down. I've got the game. I will play you right fucking now. And I will destroy you with my random knowledge. You have no clue about AJ's knowledge on random stuff. You want to talk about the Renaissance? Huh? You want to talk about sports, entertainment, art and leisure, fucking science and nature? Bitch, I have got you. We can do this. Trivial Pursuit, my man. I got it on the Xbox. We can fucking do this, okay? So, yes, they felt the wrath on that end. So, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday when we came back from Atlantic City, we had a pretty good time with our son. We did some stuff out in the parks and stuff. It was a good weekend. We had a really, really good weekend, which is probably why I'm fucking glowing right now as we speak. You know, so we celebrated the birthday over the weekend. Today is a shitty day, but we'll be doing the official birthday dinner possibly this weekend, which brings me to something else. This weekend, I will be having a guest in my home, and I will be doing yet another Orsini interview. That's right. I have an interview guest scheduled for Friday evening. You know how this goes. Should the motherfucker show up and come into my home, then I will announce who this person is, because the last 2 interviews I have scheduled have not worked out. And like I said, this is why I don't announce them, because unless that motherfucker is here, I'm not going to announce. I need to make sure that people know for a fact that when I sell something that I have the inventory, that they're here, which is a good thing. Trust me. If I make the promise, it's going to fucking happen. And so far, I'm at 100% with this stuff. Actually, not 100%. I've been taken to task. I've reneged on some of my hardcore rules from episode 1 on quite a few of them, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. On the interview side, I have not led you astray. Okay, so I've got a guest coming on Friday, and that should be a good interview. I'll talk more about that over the weekend. You'll be able to follow that on my social media accounts. Again, if you haven't taken a look at the social media stuff, Facebook group, Facebook page, my own personal page, Twitter, Instagram, my YouTube channel, I have completely given up on Snapchat. I'm not a big fan of the chat that snaps. I don't care. I've completely deleted it from my phone at this point. It caused way more headaches than it did anything really fucking positive. So, gone. I'm done promoting it. I don't even have it. It doesn't even make sense to keep saying it or to even keep promoting it on the social media stuff. So, I'll be removing all that. So, again, if you're listening to this show, if you're downloading this show, thank you guys. ajoum.podbean.com is where you can listen to all of my episodes all of the time. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. is a new episode. I've been very good about that. I had like 1 or 2 slip-ups at the very beginning, but I've got a pretty good streak going. Pretty much got new content coming every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Unless something extremely extremely fucked up happens, but you'll probably be made aware of it on the social media account. If you don't have the Podbean app, and I know most of the people who listen to me apparently listen to me on the Podbean app, according to the statistics page. So kudos to you guys. But for those of you who do not have, nor do you have any interest in downloading the Podbean app, that is A-OK. You already have platforms on your phone in which you can listen to Orsini's Uncensored Mind. I am on iTunes. I am on Google Play. You can also catch me on Stitcher Radio, and the TuneIn Radio app. Those are all different ways that you can listen to the show and get your Orsini fix. Now, since we've already talked about my guest, since we've already talked about the different ways you can catch the show, and since, of course, I've been glowing about my birthday wife, the only logical thing left to do now is to switch topics, and the topic that we're going to talk about right now is rape. Yep, rape. That's what we're going to do right now. I know it's a hardcore transition to go from my wife to rape, but let's do it. Let's talk rape, boys and girls. I know the topic of conversation right now around the world is Yeezy over here, Mr. Kanye West, speaking his mind on 400 years of slavery. But I'm not here to talk about that for two reasons. I don't give a fuck. He's an idiot. He's always been an idiot, and I'm not going to feed into the idiocracy. He's been a continuous jackass for years. His music is pretty good at best. I used to be a fan. College Dropout was a very good album for me, but I've kind of fallen off over time. So not even the one thing he's good for does he really seem that good to me anymore at. So I don't even know if that was English that I just said. So I'm not talking about here. I'm here to talk about rape. Or in the better sense here, sexual assault. So I think you know where I'm going with this. And of course, I had to. I sat down and legitimately thought about it, and how it affected me. And we're here to talk about Bill motherfucking Cosby. Now here's the situation. For those of you who are unaware, if you are unaware, bless you, because it's everywhere. I don't know how you've managed to get this far without fucking hearing about it. But let's give you the cliff notes, my friend. Bill Cosby, America's Dad, which is a shitty title. I don't agree with that fucking title at all. Not even a fucking little bit. America's Dad. Since when? Who's dad? Not my dad. Yes, he was a good influence. Yeah, he was trying to be that non-stereotypical black dad, I guess you could say. Like, he did a really good job of portraying this character on television, which is fine. But my dad was not Bill Cosby. My dad growing up was James from Good Times. That was my fucking dad. That, to me, was everybody's fucking dad, because he was the fucking dad that wanted everybody to succeed, man. He wanted everybody to do their shit. He was the one that I looked at. That's me personally. I know I may not be on the same wavelength as everybody else, but everybody else has their form, and this one is mine. So I am telling you my influence. I mean, I'll look to Uncle Phil. There's a lot of different... He wasn't the only one, which is what I'm trying to get at, because everyone he came around at a time where he was the only one. No, he wasn't. He wasn't the first, and he wasn't the fucking only. If you want to make any argument, the argument could be he probably did it the best because he did it the longest, and he really had fucking people convinced that this guy was fucking Dr. Huxtable for real. They really thought this guy was Dr. Huxtable for real. I guess this is how he lived his life. So this is supposedly America's Dad. He is currently 80 years of age. He's an old fucking man. He's lived his life. Okay? And he's currently been convicted. He is in the court in Pennsylvania, 3 counts of sexual assault. He has been found guilty by a jury of his own peers. 14 hours of deliberation. Now, again, if you're not aware, this is the retrial. He was on trial for similar charges literally 1 year ago, and it was a mistrial. They dismissed the case essentially, and I think it was always the plan from all sides that they weren't through with this. Now, I didn't have a show last year, so you didn't hear me bitch about this last year to my buddies, which was on social media. The overall assumption was that he was guilty, and then everybody was shitting on Cosby, and then the case was dismissed, and then everyone said, well, I guess you feel stupid now, don't you? No, I don't feel stupid. He was never acquitted. He was never proven innocent. It was dismissed. This isn't going anywhere. We don't have a final answer yet. Well, Lord and behold, 1 year later, evidence resurfaces, new evidence brought to the table, more names, more witnesses, and now we have a guilty verdict. He is guilty on all 3 counts that he was charged with, which is the next problem because this whole thing started with what seemed like a cavalcade of assaulted women here. If I'm not mistaken, I think the number was somewhere in the 60s of women stepping forward, all giving their own little individual accounts of Bill Cosby doing his thing, I guess, on them, and all of them stepping up, all of them giving their own little stories. The problem, legally anyway, with all of that, is they didn't step up until way later. And all of those cases, for the most part, all expired under the statute of limitations to the charge. Which it sounds to me, based on the numbers, that it sounds to me about 20 years, roughly. Because a lot of the women that step forward, and we're talking about women who were assaulted as early back as the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And the court case that he's currently involved with, which is with a woman, Andrea Costan, her assault case comes from an assault that was apparently done in 2004. So we're talking about decades here. A span of decades of this dad, everyone's dad, putting little Willie where it doesn't fucking belong, apparently. You get 1 or 2 people coming out of the woodwork trying to get a payday off you, that's one thing. But when you have literally the Million Woman March all yelling at the fact that you shoved him with your dick inappropriately, I think there's a little fire to that smoke. And now we have an actual verdict. Now we have a conviction. Now, to play devil's advocate here, Cosby's team has already stated they will appeal. And I'm sure they will. It'd be stupid not to. Because here's the thing. A guilty verdict, based on the ruling that they made, each count carries anywhere from 5 to 10 years. I know everyone's been throwing around 10. But the legal definition the legal sentencing for those counts is up to the judge. And it can be anywhere from 5 to 10 years. But it's per count. He's been found guilty on 3 counts of sexual assault. 3. So, math time, if you do the maximum of 10 years, that's the 30 everyone keeps talking about. He's been sentenced to 30 years. No, he has not been sentenced to 30 years. Technically speaking, they haven't settled on a sentencing, but it looks like he can be serving anywhere from 15 to 30 years. And the legal team from the prosecution is trying to get the term served at the same time. There was a big C word for it. I can't remember what. Concurrently. There it is. I have it in my notes here. Concurrently, due to this Pennsylvania state law, they're trying to get that pushed so that there's no breakage. They're just trying to get the entire term, whatever the term is, whatever the judge decides on, to get it served all at the same time. Now, that's all the legal mumbo jumbo. That's all the stuff there that is taking place. I'm not here to talk about all that, to be honest with you. What I'm here to talk about is the stuff that there's 2 major points here. 80 years old is a huge factor in what I'm about to talk about, because he's 80 years old. Even if you take the base time, which would be 15 years, even if you said, yes, he has to serve it concurrently, how much of that do you really think he's going to fucking live through? How much of that do you really think he's going to fucking serve? Honestly. I mean, I doubt they'll do this, but if you cuffed him and put the jumpsuit on him and sent his ass to federal, how long do you think he's going to be in there? I mean, how long before before, even if old age doesn't get him, how long you think before he puts a bed sheet around his neck? I mean, seriously, this is the way that it's going to end for him? You think he's going to really just sit there and just let a judge decide his fate after 80 years of doing literally anything he ever fucking wanted to do? The guy's been rich off his ass since the 70s. Apparently, he's been busy with the ladies, in spite of the fact that he's been married with 5 children. 4 left now. He lost his son it's actually been quite a few years ago, a while ago. This guy, he's not going to serve a whole lot of fucking time in jail. He's just not. So I don't know, here's the second part I'm going to talk about. I don't know what kind of justice they're going for here. Is it just the conviction? Is it just the destruction of his reputation in the image of him, because that technically is, I think, what hurts the most here. It's not the time served. I don't really think he's going to serve any real fucking time, and even if he does, it won't be in Gen Pop. He's going to be in some country club senior citizen version of jail. He'll be less comfortable than he's accustomed to, but he won't be with the thugs and the criminals. So is the real goal here the destruction of what we know as Cosby? Because if that was the plan, kudos. Because I think that was a successful plan. Guilty on all counts, 3 counts of sexual assault, 15 to 30 years sentencing. I mean, that ruins it, right? Right? I mean, that has to. America's Dad, my ass. That has to absolutely no longer be in play. It can't be. Now, Andrea Costin is the woman in which the 3 counts are stemming from. Now, let's talk a little bit about this little, because I want to give you a little bit more insight of what we're talking here, especially when it comes to the destruction of what we know, the legend of Cosby, right? So the woman in question, Andrea Costin, her situation happened in 2004. They met because she was the director of operations for Temple's women's basketball team. Now, Temple is Bill Cosby's alma mater. That's where he came from famously. Everyone knows he's a Temple alum. He doesn't hide that fact. And she was an employee there. And not for nothing, she looks like a member of the women's basketball team. No disrespect to her. It's just, that's an observation. Director of operations of Temple's women's basketball team. Now, they had what she described as a friendship. You know, he's an alumni. She works for the sports department. It's a natural fit, right? And Lord and behold, there was a visit to the home. He offered her 3 pills. She took the pills, 3 blue pills. No idea what those are. She took the pills. She became groggy, blurred vision. The words that were used is she was incapacitated. Not necessarily blacked out, but definitely unable to really move any of her extremities. At which point, she claims, well, now I guess we can say for sure, he assaulted her. He raped her. The sexual assault essentially is a rape. I know there's 2 different counts. I know there are 2 different terms in legal mumbo jumbo. But essentially, he forced himself on this woman. Okay, rape, I think, I'm assuming here, rape is more or less the penetration. It's an actual sex act, whereas sexual assault could be many other fine line things. You know, doesn't necessarily have to be the P and the V, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so Andrea, her time period, which is 2004, fits directly within those statute of limitations, which is how this case got started in the first place. Now, Andrea was not alone. There were other women who stepped up, took the stand, and partook not only in the original trial, but in the retrial as well. As a matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 other women. Most famously, Janice Dickinson, the model actress, kind of the one who started the ball rolling on all of this. She was a former model actress. Her situation started back in 1982 on a trip to Lake Tahoe. They got together. They got to chatting. He got to drugging, and then he got to raping. Now, when the situation was over, Janice, eventually down the line as her career progressed, she wrote a book. And the account, or should I say the trip anyway, was in the book. But it had a very different storyline to what she was given after the fact. She claims she was pressured into that. I don't know how true or how real that is. That's what she claims. So the defense always points to the fact that she's got 2 different stories. Janice Baker Kinney, a former Harrah's employee, casino, invited for a pizza party. I wish that was true. I wish that was really, really true. I wish it was just a pizza party. That would have been great. Unfortunately, it wasn't. She also took 2 pills that it was offered to her, and she woke up in bed next to him nude. Now, originally in her defense, or in her story, she actually apologized to Bill because she thought she was being disrespectful as a guest there and couldn't remember why she passed out or how. It wasn't until after the fact when she put 2 and 2 together. I hope I'm saying this right. Chilan Lasha, Vegas Hilton employee, raped at the age of 17 after a bogus photo shoot. She was supposed to have a photo shoot, quote unquote, air quotes, and never happened. Defense points to a guilty plea of filing a false police report in Arizona. She also claims the same deal. Now, her situation is very much like Andrea in the sense of she was incapacitated, not necessarily unconscious. So her story is that she remembers vividly being forced against her will here. Another lady, Lisa Lott Lublin, she was asked to come to an audition. They were improvising back and forth. Cosby offered her 2 drinks. She isn't a drinker, but it's Bill, so she took the drinks and passed out. Defense say that she assumed she was assaulted because they were, quote, laying next to each other and he was just stroking her hair. That's it. He was just harmlessly drugging her just to put his hands through her hair. That's it. Smell it a little bit. Nothing weird about that. Which, by the way, in the in a lot of these cases, Cosby's team is not denying any of the action. They're denying a lot of the intent. There was no rape here. Heidi Thomas was invited to a trip. They were doing a trip, a mentoring trip to Reno. I don't know how she knew Bill, but she was invited to the trip. She was drugged and raped, and was the first. She was the first witness to speak up at the retrial, which is the one that we just had here with Andrea. And she's been a constant friend and confidant to Andrea literally this entire time through the process. She was actually there for the verdict as well. So these ladies here, like I said, this whole thing started with about 60 of them. But these are the only ones, the ones that I just named, who have been kind of on top of this since the beginning and have kind of been supporting Andrea during her entire case. So I bring this all up as specifics because, A, I want to prove a point here. I think that the image, the legend, what you consider to be Bill Cosby, that's over. It's done now. You know, it's if you're gonna sit there and rationalize what Bill did, I'm sorry, I can't support you on that. I can't, because the evidence. And I know the other side of the argument. I've heard it 1,000 times on social media so far. Well, what were these women doing with him knowing he was a married man? Why were they doing this? Why would they put themselves in this situation? I have to be clear about this, and especially since I'm doing this on my show. And my show has to carry a certain reputation and a certain guideline. And so I'm going to say this as clearly as I possibly can, and then we're going to move on to another topic because I think I've gotten my point across after this. There is no situation, there was no place, there was no time, there was no person where it is okay to sexually assault anyone, male or female. None. Yes, he is a married man, which means as a married man, he shouldn't have been putting himself in a position to be around all these women. He admits to purchasing drugs. He admits to giving these women alcohol. He admits to putting them into precarious situations. The only change in story is that he is stating that the sex was consensual and not rape. That is the only switch. Everything that these women have said, he has not categorically denied 100%. All he does is just twist the narrative and twist the story so he doesn't come off looking terrible. In every one of these stories, he comes out looking bad. But I think they can handle bad. You know why they can handle bad? He's 80. And people don't get punished for bad. They get punished for terrible. They weren't trying to clear his name. They were trying to save his ass. And it didn't work. So you can sit here and blame the woman all you want. And maybe for some of those 60, maybe there was some con artists. Maybe there was a few in there who really didn't have a situation and just jumped on the gravy train. I'm not going to eliminate that possibility. But for the 6, for sure, that were involved with this case, they were vetted. They were checked. They were investigated. And he was guilty. So in my eyes, and hopefully in the eyes of any sane person, that legacy is done and over with. It's over. Now, I know he helped a lot of people get through college, and he helped out neighborhoods, and he did this, and he did that. And all of that is great. But now, even that takes a turn when you think about it. Because was he really helping these children? Was he really helping these people who were down on their luck because he genuinely wanted to help? Or was it karma for the soul? Was he trying to give a little so he didn't have to feel like such an ass for what he was really doing? We'll never know. But he's going to have 15 to 30 years to figure that out. For as long as he has. Because again, I don't think he'll serve a single fucking day. But he's going to have that time now to figure that out. And I hope he does. I really do. It sucks that it happened to a guy like him. But I'm going to get over it because it was a guy like him that made these women's lives suck. So I'm not feeling that bad about it. The only person he has to blame for even being in this situation is himself. He was a husband. Actually, he's still a husband because his wife, and I don't blame her, isn't going anywhere. And he had a bunch of kids, and he's got a bunch of grandkids. You've got shit to do. You can keep busy. You don't need to be out here fucking with these women, period. That wasn't their fucking decision. It was yours. You're a grown fucking man. You're paying the bills. For most of these situations, you were the power figure in the relationship. You had the option of saying, no, I'm going home. You didn't. You partied. You drugged. You fucked. That was you. So there's no one else to blame but yourself. So I don't feel sorry for one fucking second. All I know is this. James ain't ever done that shit. Not my dad. Your dad. Your dad did that shit. So that's enough on that. Yep, we're leaving rape alone now. We're moving on. We're moving on to the next shit. And I hope you guys are buckling up here because I'm gonna breeze through this because there wasn't really much for me to talk about on this. Because whatever I talked about on this, I already kind of said on a previous episode. So I'm not gonna harp long on this. But I'm gonna talk just a little bit, and it's not wrestling related, believe it or not. You're going to think it is, but it isn't. I want to talk just a little bit about Saudi Arabia. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, here we go. Greatest Royal Rumble of all time. We're going to get into it. No, I'm not. It was a 5-hour show. It was what it was. It was okay at best. Too long for my liking. I watched the whole thing. But that was just because I'm going to be honest with you. I was just sold on that Rumble match, and I wanted to see what happened. Daniel Bryan kept me watching that match. I just wanted to see how long he was going to go. In 76 minutes, holy shit. That's pretty fucking impressive for someone who's got a dinged up head, right? I'll talk more on the Daniel Bryan situation and that 76 minutes on another episode. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Saudi Arabia. Just a little bit. Get into it just a little bit because I got some other stuff I absolutely need to get to before the end of this episode. I got 1 hour to do it. So here it goes. We're going to talk about Saudi Arabia just a little bit. Now, I had notes on this, but fuck the notes. I've already noted the death on the last topic, so I'll keep it Swayze here, okay? Saudi Arabia is a pretty fucked up place. There it is. I said it. It's a pretty fucked up place. I don't think for 1 second that anybody within the sound of my voice does not agree with that, even people who probably live in Saudi Arabia. Now, they're trying to change it around. The prince over there is doing his thing. He's trying to change the image around. He's trying to do whatever he needs to do. They got movie theaters over there now. They got all kinds of shit going on. That's fine. But all the hubbub about this fucking show was about women not being able to perform in Saudi Arabia. Now, here's the shocking thing about this to me. That rule has always been in place. And they being the WWE, has been to Saudi Arabia quite a few fucking times. We've been to Kuwait. We've been to Germany. I mean, the WWE, he's been to a lot of fucking places, including Saudi Arabia. Not the first time they've been to Saudi Arabia. Not the first time that the women couldn't go. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of a hubbub the last time because they wouldn't let the gay guy go. Darren Young couldn't go. So the gay guy got, 15 minutes. But now we have all these guys on the social media. What was it? 1 step forward, 2 steps back. How can you call yourself a women's revolution if you're doing business with all these? Listen. I've never in my wildest dreams ever thought I would say this in a million years. I never thought I would say this out loud. But I've been saying it since the whole thing started with Saudi Arabia, so I'm finally getting a chance to say it on my show. I didn't get a chance during Comic Book Week, so I'm gonna say it now. Nobody gives a fuck. Seriously, nobody gave a fuck. The women got paid. They understand the situation. That's trying to build this relationship brick by brick. It's a 10-year deal. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss have already crossed the line. They've already had a match at Abu Dhabi. Fully clothed. You guys remember they did the fully clothed. They were wearing leather. They were still wearing their colors, but it was like fully clothed, and it was for the women's title. These things take fucking time. And they chip away, and they chip away, and they chip away. The beautiful part about right now is, like I just told you, the Prince of Saudi Arabia is all for change. He's going to try to change. That's why this time is definitely different from all the others, because now we're actually building a relationship to the point where it will be healthy enough to not only where women will compete, but hopefully women will compete regularly. That's the idea in all of this. Yes, the money's there, but the money's there for every fucking thing they do. What do you think? Be a star is for free? What is all this philanthropy about all of a sudden? You really think these Make-A-Wishes are for free? Everything is about a buck. It's a business. It's a business. Even if they don't charge people for the service for Be a Star, or charge the service for the Make-A-Wish sponsorship, networking, there's ways to make money off of literally everything you do in a business, so long as you run the business right. And they're $1 billion company. I'm going to side toward them doing business right. The women, I'm sure, were not happy that they couldn't go to Saudi Arabia. But I'm also sure they're professional enough to understand the situation. Especially since Sasha and Alexis already broke that mold. I posted that video online already for you guys to see. This has already been done. Okay? This social justice warrior shit, sometimes it gets exhausting. It really does. I have to ask you guys, for the ones who go on the internet and just, you're mad about everything. Can I just ask you something? Don't you get tired? I mean, eventually, don't you fucking get tired? Every now and then, don't you want to just put one of those try not to laugh challenge videos on and just giggle a bit? You know, isn't it frustrating to just do this every fucking day? I get it. You're fighting for rights. You're fighting for... I mean, these are all serious things, and I get it. Keep on the good fight, my brother. Please do. But, I mean, take a fucking break sometimes. Sometimes it gets a little hard to take some of these fucking people seriously. It really does. Sometimes it's a bit much. You know, I'm protesting. One of the most overused phrases all the time. I'm canceling my subscription. Okay, fine. Cancel the fucking subscription, dude. I mean, if I could physically find the energy somewhere to scientifically prove that I couldn't give less of a shit if you fucking unsubscribed or not. Also, for the record, your unsubscription, all it does is you keep your $10 and you don't have access to the network, and the women still can't go. They still can't go. At no point did they say, oh shit, Jimmy canceled his subscription. Oh well, I guess we're going to have to put Bailey on the show. Didn't happen. Isn't going to happen, because that's not how this works. Okay? We have a lot of that shit going on here in this country as it is. The fighting, the back and forth, everyone trying to get along. I get it. So to see it happening over there, it chaps your ass. I get it. Okay? I understand. But still, this is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen at the Greatest Royal Rumble. It may not happen in October or November or whatever fucking time we go back. It may not be the first 3 or 4 times. But in a 5-year period, 10-year period, which is the duration of the contract, I promise you, this is an Orsini guarantee. I may not even have the show in 10 years. I'd like to think that I would, but I may not. But even still, I know I'll be on social media 10 years from now. And I promise you, an Orsini guarantee, you can hold me to it, okay? There will be a women's match by the WWE in Saudi Arabia at some point. Guarantee it. It will happen. Confident about this, because they're efforting for it to happen. They're going to push, and they're going to push, and they're going to push, and it will happen. Because it's not enough to do the women's revolution. It's not enough to do the women's evolution. Imagine if they were able to change the world with it. That's PR the WWE literally cannot buy. But wouldn't it be cool and sweet if they were paid to do it? It's PR you can't buy. But what if someone gave you the PR and paid you to do it? Isn't that a better deal? Come on, guys. Relax a little bit. We're going to get there, baby. We're going to get there. Okay? Now, off of that topic, I only have about a few minutes left here. And I have got to talk about this. I am so sorry. I have to. I'm going to do something very nice. Very nice. I'm going to keep this conversation very limited. But I saw the movie. Now, I want to preface everything by saying this. According to my screen where I'm recording, it is about to be the 45-minute mark. Okay? If this is the point in which you want to turn this fucking thing off, this is the time. If you haven't seen it yet and you're all up in your ass about spoilers and all up in your ass about all the different fucking things that took place and you just don't want things ruined and yada, 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 here it is. We just hit it right now, the 45-minute mark. Turn it off. Go see the movie. Come back and listen to it again. If you don't want anything spoiled for you, if you want to just skip ahead, because I think at the end of this I'm going to be pretty much over anyway. So you could just turn it off and you can come back and listen to it another time. Okay, so 45 minutes. I'm sorry, 45 minutes and 30 seconds in. Okay, so here's your moment. Okay, that was your moment. That's it. That was your moment. If you're listening to my voice now, don't complain, because I gave you ample amount of time to turn this shit off so you didn't hear it. Okay? If you're still listening to me, that means you already saw it. So we're going to have a quick little discussion. Okay? Quick little discussion. And we're going to start this discussion off by saying, fuck you, Star-Lord. Fuck you. Fuck you, Star-Lord. That's what we're starting, folks. Yep. Right out of the gun. I don't care. Fuck you, Star-Lord. That's what we're starting. We're starting at fuck you, Star-Lord. Because fuck that guy. Now listen, I'm having the debate already in my head because I've heard all the bullshit since this fucking movie came out. No. Fuck Star-Lord. Okay? Here's the deal. If you're still listening to my voice, that means you've already seen it. If you haven't, then I don't know what to fucking tell you. Don't be mad at me. But the scene where the fucking Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy finally have Thanos all wrapped up, Iron Man and Spider-Man are pulling the glove off, Star-Lord's doing his fucking thing, talking all kinds of shit. He finds out that Gamora dies, and then he just fucking flips, right? Starts beating this dude in the face, which of course causes no damage because he's Thanos. All he did was wake his ass up. And then Thanos proceeds to give a whomping of a lifetime. He starts whipping that ass. All asses. All encompassing butt cheeks. At this point, we're getting kicked. And it all goes back to this fucking guy. The glove was actually fucking off. It was off. Okay? They could have won this thing right then and there. Now I know all the different strategies and all the different versions people were saying that Strange had already seen 14 million different ways to win the war. Or should I say 14 million scenarios in which the war took place. Only one was the right way, and Strange didn't stop Peter. Everyone tried to stop Peter but Strange. So it must have all been part of the plan and yada, yada, yada. I don't give a shit. He still should have been smarter than that. And I know you're saying that. Here's the other argument. He was emotional, AJ. He just lost his girlfriend. She's dead. This fucker just killed her. If someone was to kill your wife, you wouldn't be able to hold it in either, AJ. You're a human fucking being. Fuck you. You're incorrect. And here's all the parts in which you're incorrect. A, he should have known better than to fucking spaz out. He should have. And do you know why he should have? Because earlier in the same fucking movie, when Drax first sees Thanos, Drax tries to fucking kill Thanos. And it's Peter who is telling him, no, not yet. Let's do this first. Then you can kill him. This guy had his wife, not his girlfriend, by the way. his wife and his daughter murdered by Thanos. Drax has an opportunity, and Peter wants Drax to think it through and to be just a few minutes more patient so that they can do what they need to do to stop him, and then he's free to kill. So if you're that quick for Drax, why aren't you that quick for yourself? You don't have to wait to kill this guy nearly as long as Drax had to. They literally have the glove off. It's coming off right now. Okay? All you need to do is literally wait probably no more than 30 seconds. You find out Gamora's dead. How about you bring your lazy ass over to the fucking the glove with these two guys, help them pull this fucking thing off, right? You pull the fucking glove off, you put the glove on yourself, you activate the Power Stone, and you punch a fucking hole right through his goddamn head. That's a good way to get back at him. That, to me, it is. Hole in the face is a very good way to get back at someone who kills your significant other, I think. I think it's a cool way to do that. If somebody was to kill my wife and my son, if I had the ability to put on a magical glove and blow a hole through his fucking face, I would probably select that option. If only second to the idea of taking that same glove and basically punching his dick off. That'd be another cool way. If I had more than one, we can go on and on and on about the different ways that we would make this guy feel all kinds of bad about himself. Also, if I had the glove, Time Stone. Apparently, the Time Stone's really accurate at reversing shit. So we can make this happen. He had all the fucking stone except for the mind gem. Stone. Sorry, stone. I'm used to gems, but stone it is. Now, of course, I'm being facetious. I understand how the movie is working. I'm going at you guys based as a human being here, having a human being-like reaction. Okay? And then I started hearing all these different people coming up with all these different reasons on how it's everybody else's fault. It's Iron Man's fault because he did this. Oh, it's Strange's fault because he did this. Listen. It's Star-Lord's fault. It's Star-Lord's fault. There's nobody else's fault but Star-Lord's. And I'll give you the analogy I gave on social media not so long ago. Okay? If you played 8 innings, okay, of absolutely shitty baseball, just turnover after error after ever and missed plays and miscommunication. If by the 9th inning you have the lead still and the closer blows the save, guess what? It's the closer's fault. It's the closer's fault. The mistakes don't matter anymore. You had the lead. The lead eradicates the mistakes. Just like the glove eradicates all the mistakes from earlier in the film. Or possibly even earlier from the other movies. That's what I think on that. It's still Star-Lord's fault. Now, all joking aside, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a good movie. I thought for what it was, as far as this character list, they did about as good a job as introducing new yet comfortable, a new version of this, but it's still the same character. And, they hit all the, we went into space for the Guardians, Wakanda for Panther, and we were just in a lot of different places, including the actual planet of Titan, which is interesting how they did that. I like how Titan has oxygen, apparently. That you could just show up on Titan and just breathe just fine. No problems at all. No gaseous fumes. No nothing. Atmosphere is just so Earth-like over on Titan, which is fine. That's cool. I can look past all that. It was a good movie. This whole masterpiece, this movie was perfection. It's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Slow your roll. It's still not my favorite Marvel movie of all time. It's in the top. It's definitely top 5. It's definitely top 5. I'm going to have to move that list around. But it's still not my number 1. I'm sorry. As good as it was. It was very entertaining. I had a blast watching it. It was easy to follow. It was 2 hours and change here. It was a pretty long movie. But it didn't feel long. Like everything just kept moving. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was moving. It was good flow. The action sequence was good. That pop when Thor, Groot, and Raccoon and Rocket show up at Wakanda and start kicking all kinds of serious ass. Man, there was a lot going on. Red Skull's appearance, huge pop from me. I've been saying for years that he never really died, but they never used him, so just gave up on it. And I actually had me convinced. I was like, all right, so I guess he's dead then because he never came back. And here it is, Infinity War, standing there, and he had a gem, a stone, whatever. So that was interesting. So it was a good movie. I liked it. There are 2 points, though. I'm sorry. This is why I have 2 points, which is why I just personally don't believe it was this perfect film that everyone's making it out to be. The first of which, Thanos. I thought Thanos was an amazing bad guy. I think as far as the story goes for Thanos, I just thought it was a really good story. I think Josh did an amazing job as far as the capture motion acting and getting the right emotion at the right time for the right things. But that's also, as good as that was, I think it's a positive. To me, it was also kind of a negative. This is not the Thanos that I was expecting, nor is it the Thanos that actually, now that I've seen the movie completely, I don't think it's the Thanos that I wanted. It started off really good. He had hands for Hulk in the beginning, which was awesome. This dude those were some Golden Glove moves, except for that knee to the face. But this guy had some swift hands. He had some hands for him in the beginning, and they showed all these different versions of him killing, and he destroyed all the Asgardians. He destroyed Gamora's home planet. They were on the right path. This emotional side of him, wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't. I'm not criticizing the character. You guys are free to feel however you want. I didn't dig it. Now, I know they couldn't do his actual motivation, which was to impress Death. I know they didn't want to include Death because, it's Death. It's Disney, and it's weird. So they didn't want to actually incorporate Lady Death in this entire thing. So they changed his motivation around to just overall balance of the universe. And in doing so, they made him more of an emotional character. It was almost like they were making him identifiable. Like my wife said when we were watching it, he came off more like a bad parent than a mad titan. Even down to wanting Gamora to sit in the chair and the tear before he threw her into the canyon. All these different versions. Even when she said he said everything in the verse needs to be balanced. And she said, you don't know that. He said, I'm the only one that knows that. That exasperation when he says those lines, there were so many layers to him. And to be honest with you, it sounds great on paper, but for Thanos, I didn't need that. I didn't want that. I think, and the 2 movies came out pretty much, not to use the word earlier, concurrently, but the Avengers came out 2 months before Panther did, which means they wrapped almost around the same time. So I don't know if it was planned this way, but I got a real Killmonger vibe from Thanos. I really did. I don't know if it was planned that way, if they were trying to make their villains more identifiable like that. With Killmonger, it made sense to make him identifiable. I got it. Followed through with what they were doing. Making Thanos this identifiable character, I wasn't a fan of it. I wanted ruthless. I wanted unmerciful. I wanted cold. I wanted jarring. I wanted just some guy who's just going to kill you because he just feels like fucking killing you. Fuck balance. I want to murder. I love murdering. It's fun for me. It's a hobby. You have button making. You have gardening. I have murdering people. It's what we do. It's a little bit more taxing and cost effective than, a stamp collection, but it's what I do. It's what I dig. I dig it. I don't like the fact that he had a reason for killing, even though the sunset scene at the end was kind of cute. It's I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that he was identifiable. I didn't like the fact that people can walk away from this movie and going, well, damn, he wasn't that wrong, was he? Because, yes, no, he was very, very wrong. Murdering a bunch of people for the belief that there aren't enough resources around, so he's trying to, quote-unquote, balance everything. That is bad. Genocide is bad. I don't know why I have to tell people that genocide is bad. He is not an anti-hero. It's the same thing with Killmonger. Well, Killmonger was the real babyface of that movie. No, he wasn't. He was a murdering asshole. A lot like Thanos. If anything, I got more of a vibe from Killmonger that he enjoyed killing more than I got it from Thanos. It seemed like killing was a burden to him. Like it was just something he had to do because he felt he was the only one with the power to do it. Killmonger had no problem killing these people. Enjoyed it greatly. It's the same thing for both sides. Genocide is bad, folks. Very bad. You should not do it. The second problem that I had with the movie was the deaths. I did not like the deaths. I'm sorry. Not who died, because I don't give a shit who died. I think they chose the right people, and the way they did it, in the order in which they did it, I should say, I think was absolutely perfect. Of course, the big surprise was T'Challa dying, Black Panther. Obviously, Panther dying was a huge surprise. Even my wife gasped. That was a big surprise to her. He's the new guy. He's the new guy on top right now, and he died. So that was a shock. It wasn't that. It was the dust, the ash. I hate that. Was so stupid. No sound, just and then gone. I can't sympathize with that. I'm sorry. I can't sit here and go, oh, what happened? If anything, I feel shock, not sadness. And it doesn't help that the people who disappeared, like the people who survived, also really didn't fucking react. Bucky just died right in front of Steve, and the best Steve can give me was touching the ground. That's it. There were no tears. There was no breakdown. There was no, oh my God, my friend. Not the way that he reacted the first time in the train. People just kind of faded off. The only person that I felt actually died was Spider-Man, Peter Parker. And apparently he was the only one that could feel it coming. Everybody else just kind of withered away. He felt it coming. And then he was able to do all those lines, with the, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Beautiful scene. And now that I'm finding out that he improv'd it, that it was something that him and Robert Downey just improvised, is awesome. The fact that was off the top of his head and he was just in the moment, that's awesome. It makes it even better. But he's the only one that died where I was like, all right, that's okay. I got emotional for that one. He pulled that emotion out of me with that performance. Everyone else just like a strong wind. That was it. They were killed by a strong wind. Come on, man. I wanted death. Let him die. They gave it to Spider-Man. Can you imagine the reaction or the cell job it would have been if Bucky would have collapsed? And yeah, he's withering, but he's withering slowly. And you can almost like you can see. I get why they did it quick, because you don't want to see pain and suffering. You don't want to literally see someone die. But they did it with Spider-Man. He panicked. He was emotional. And I think it made Robert, Iron Man, I think it made Robert get emotional because his cell job to Peter dying was amazing. He didn't react that way when the Guardians died. He reacted that way for Pete. And I know you're thinking, well, because he had a connection to Pete. He was the kid. He's responsible. But still, the cell job was great. So, yeah, not a big fan of the way that they just withered off into the air. I don't know. Wasn't digging it at all. But again, those are nitpicks. I'm not sitting here saying the movie was bad. I know that upon listening to all this, you'll probably get the impression that I didn't like the movie. That's not true at all. I actually dug the movie a lot. Pretty good movie. I intend on watching it again very, very soon. Those were just nitpicks. I was just saying those things because it's how I felt, A, and B, it wasn't a perfect film. It wasn't a perfect film. So now we have the half of the universe destroyed. Everything has been brought to balance. Now where do we go? Where do we go from here? Vision is destroyed. How does Iron Man get back from Titan at this point? His nanite machine is all fucked up. He's the only person he's around right now is Nebula, and she crashed the ship going in. So how do they get back home? Strange is gone. There's so many important characters that are not in the actual movie world right now. But we saw the post-credit scene. Captain Marvel's insignia at the end. She's coming into the Avengers film. Adam Warlock obviously has to become a huge focal point going forward with the MCU. So there's going to be a lot of inclusions. There was no Ant-Man, no Hawkeye in this movie. We'll see how they play out going forward. A lot of stuff still on the table, man. And I appreciate everybody who was a part of Comic Book Week last week as we were leading up to the opening to Infinity War. Glad I got a chance to talk about it just a little bit. I didn't want to do a whole show on it because, again, less is more. We just did a whole comic book episode last week, and again, I was so disappointed and sad and down about it. I just didn't want to burden myself again. So I mean, look at all the stuff we talked about here, man. Talked about my wife's birthday. We talked about my platforms. Bill Cosby got the raping. Saudi Arabia hates women. This has been a very anti-women episode accidentally when you think about it. But and the Avengers. Hey, if we got to do one positive thing about the women, hello, the scene in Avengers with Scarlet Witch and Black Widow and T'Challa's guard. I can't remember her name right now. Starts with an O. But and the female member of the Black Order, which no one knows the names of the Black Order, by the way. They did a very poor job talking about them. But that little women's little segment they had right there, that was pretty dope. There's that. There's some positivity right there. But yeah, I'll try to be a little bit more positive on that end on the next episode. Well, actually, no, the next episode is going to be the interview. That's right. So I'm going to be announcing that interview this Friday. Let you guys know what's going on. Let you know who it is, how that's going down. Again, as a reminder, ajoursin.podbean.com is where you catch all of my episodes. You can also catch me on other platforms. Google Play Music. You can catch me on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and the TuneIn Radio app. I say it every week that I'm going to get to these new platforms, and I swear to God, I don't even believe in God, but I swear to him that I will do that. All right, guys? So thanks for downloading. Thanks for supporting. Real quick before I go, thank you to all those countries. I don't know if you guys saw my post. I put some pictures up on the Facebook and on my Instagram about all the new countries that are downloading Orsini's Uncensored Mind. My good friends over in Germany, Indonesia, Ghana, Canada, which is not a surprise because you guys aren't really that far. So many different countries getting involved with Orsini's Uncensored Mind. Some download stuff. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for being a part. I got to learn some of your languages. If you guys going to be listening to my show, I got to throw some. Is it Guyanese? I know it's German. Canadian. What's a Canadian? Is Canadian the same as what I'm doing now, just with an accent? Is that how that works? I don't know. Research. The research must commence. I will do my homework and try to find out for you guys. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for downloading. Thank you guys for sharing. And once again, thank you guys for enjoying. I am out.
At my house. Listen to my daddy so. Or see me extra mine.